Live service games are hamster wheels, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. Despite being repetitive, they continue to be fun. It's impressive that a finite amount of game development creates an infinite amount of game. Developers use gameplay loops to do just that. Playing through game elements sequentially brings you back to other game elements. Let's use Overwatch to investigate gameplay loops. First, you set up for a fight and begin to skirmish. Both teams look for an advantage while skirmishing, and when one does, they play aggressive and look to close out the fight. The art of the gameplay loop is in the many options afforded to each segment. There are multiple ways to look for an advantage. You can force a positional advantage by taking a well-timed flank, a cooldown advantage by baiting your opponent's resources, or you can even bypass all of this with an ultimate advantage. When you get the signal to push that advantage, there are a lot of ways to do that too. You can play fast, play slow, focus a target, or even go back to looking for an advantage if something goes wrong. When the fight does end, you don't just sit idly by. Well, you shouldn't at least. If you lost your last fight, you might pick a better suited character. Either way, you'll push up for map control and poke for ultimate charge. This brings you back to looking for a fight advantage and kickstarts the loop all over again. And that's a gameplay loop. Keep doing this until the match ends. Let me know in the comments which gameplay loop you'd like to see next, because every live service game has its own gameplay loop that keeps running like an engine. But what about between matches? Each time you decide to play a match, you need to kickstart the engine with some kind of starter motor to get it going. This is where ranked systems come into play. You desire a higher rank, so you choose to get into the game. Alternatively, you can just manually start this loop by booting the game because you know you'll have fun. Having fun and setting expectations later in the loop is another important way to drive that gameplay loop, something that Rivals excels at. I've already talked about Overwatch this video, so I might as well talk about Marvel Rivals too. While you can boil each of these games down to a single gameplay loop, they both have the advantage of being hero shooters. Each character completes that same loop in different and theoretically exciting ways. Rivals does a good job of using rewards to drive their loop. All the healing and damage hit markers are super satisfying, and they build up to a huge moment with your ultimate. I consulted some Rivals players to make this graphic, and they had some corrections to make. Yeah, that's more like it. Look, the point of a gameplay loop is to keep people engaged. It's not inherently good or bad, it's just a group of design choices aiming towards an infinitely replayable game.